Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you had the best weekend. Every time I sit down in this podcast chair, maybe I literally need to do an update podcast every single day. If I did an episode every day, number one, that would take so much time. But every time I sit here, I want to get into things. Number one, this will be very short. It's freezing in here. It is so cold in here. The thermostat up here does the whole upstairs, which is all of the bedrooms. And I'm guessing that this one gets the coldest. I'm not really sure. It was set to 68 because that's what we sleep in. And it's now the next morning. And I was downstairs for a while prepping this episode. And then I came up here and I'm like, oh my gosh, May, I'm so sorry. And I have an iced coffee. I should have made a hot one. Anywho, number two, I think I'm going to order rugs this weekend, which obviously I'm sure I'll talk about last Friday. This comes out after that episode. Fuck. However, I want to get a rug in here because even though you guys can't hear it, it's echoey. And I found this Gorgina because my chair is dark green. My vanity is like the dark walnut and gold. I think I'm going to do like a dark green rug that's, again, Gorgina from Ruggable, and I'm really excited about it. I just sat down. I need to figure out the size. But anyways, let's get into the stories. This is not a Friday episode. This is a Monday episode. Let's begin. Am I the asshole for telling my husband that I'm not going to throw away my Harry Potter books? I created a fucking Reddit account for this stupid ass shit, so I better get some good perspective from here. I didn't even see that part when I picked this. That is so funny, and that is so me. If I ever needed to come onto Reddit, I created a fucking Reddit account for this stupid ass shit. Mood. Okay, anywho. So, as any millennial kid, Harry Potter was literally my childhood. I am 32 female. I grew up with it. Obviously, I think JKR, what's the author's name? J.K. Rowling? I don't know what the J and the K stand for, but J.K. Rowling is a disgusting and bigoted waste of both oxygen and space. But yeah, I love the books too much to actually part with it. I didn't know that. Wait, I think sometimes I do live under a rock. I didn't know that J.K. Rowling is not a good person. But anywho, let's keep going. What I have done, though, is not buy any new merchandise, i.e. all the movies are downloaded in my iPad already, and my books are the OG ones I bought in the 90s. Okay, I'm following. My kids, 8 female and 9 male, wanted to read the books, so I gave them my old hand-me-downs from the 90s, which are still in good shape. They are enjoying it so far and love it. My husband's brother, 29 FTM? I'm sorry. Wait. 29 FTM. What does that mean? Female to male is what I think, like transgender. FTM. Okay, I'm getting a bunch of bank stuff, but I think that's what that means because obviously you put my husband's brother, 29, female to male. I'm guessing this is now a man but was a female. I don't understand why that would be important information though. Why wouldn't you just put male, the brother, right? Anywho, let's keep going. I don't think it's relevant. Recently came around to visit us and he saw the kids reading the books. He took me aside and told me that he finds this problematic and told me that the kids should at least know that by reading the books, they are endorsing a bigoted and hateful person. I reminded him that this was not new property and thus it is not contributing to JKR's cause. These are my old hand-me-downs. He stormed out angrily and left. My husband then told me if Harry Potter really is such an essential part of my life that I needed to push it on our kids too. And I reminded him that they were the ones who asked me to give them the books and that I will not throw them away. Wait, who asked you to throw it away? I briefly read this before I put it in the episode, and that was the sentence. My husband then told me if Harry Potter really is such an essential part of my life that I needed to push it on our kids too. I think something was supposed to come after that. But then it just goes, and I reminded him that they were the ones who asked me to give them the books. This is not really making sense. I know that sometimes I'm an idiot, but sometimes what I'm reading is what I'm reading. I'm guessing that the husband and or the husband's brother want her to throw away the books. She asks, am I the asshole? No. Here is something that could be problematic in some circles, and I apologize if you feel this way, but number one, it depends on the circumstance. This is Harry Potter we're talking about. Iconic. Whether you like it or you don't, it obviously was made into movies, and there's Harry Potter world. And I understand, apparently, I actually don't understand. I didn't know anything about J.K. Rowling. I'm going to give you guys an example. And maybe I'm just like a bad citizen or person, but I met this girl. Actually, she found me through TikTok, and then we ended up living in the same building, and we went on a few walks. And I remember this specifically because I actually have a real life event that I went through where I'm sure I've told this story before. I'm like 100% sure. I'm going to cut to the chase. I worked at Equinox. It came out that a man who was the founder of like the parent company of Equinox endorsed Trump back in 2019. Are you following? I'm trying to remember. Like, he wasn't even the founder of Equinox. He was like the founder of, let's call it, the Williams Brothers. And the Williams Brothers was a big like private equity or something, and they housed Equinox and Subway and Jimmy John's and Gold's Gym. I made every other company up, but like they housed Equinox and a bunch of other businesses. But it came out, and I think the message got misconstrued, unless people were really, I understand that you don't want to support people that are against your beliefs. I completely understand that. I sometimes feel as though it is unavoidable to me. I understand we all live with a different set of morals and beliefs, and obviously some things that you believe, somebody else might not believe, and somebody might support something, and therefore it's different for everybody for a lot of reasons. But back to the story, and then we'll get back to the original story. I get into work at Equinox, and I work the front desk. And basically what had happened was this man endorsed Trump, and he was like the head guy for like the parent company. And people were saying that he was the founder of Equinox. It got misconstrued, but everybody was calling and canceling their membership because at my location specifically, and I want to say this is globally, a lot of Equinox members are in the LGBTQ community. I really like, if I'm ever offensive in any way, not even about this circumstance when it comes to anything, I'm really not that educated. Like, I know that it was LGBT and then there's Q and there's plus. I'm not saying something or saying something to be offensive. I just really don't know. Similar to this J.K. Rowling, I don't know anything about this. I stay out of all of the negative news pretty much. Like, you know, I'm not really political, and I know that people are like, yeah, you need to be political. I'm just like, I can't. Like, it's also overwhelming to me, and I should pay attention more and care more, but like, I just have a really hard time. Therefore, I know a lot of people think that you should just like know everything about every single cause and know that J.K. Rowling is apparently bigoted. I don't know anything about this. But in this same vein, I really probably should not be going on about this because this is like literally something that could get you canceled. But there are people, and let's bring it back to Equinox. A bunch of people called to cancel their membership, and I don't know if they knew who this guy was or didn't know. It like became this whole shitstorm, and I just, even if I found out that my gym, again, it's circumstantial. Like Equinox is a huge corporation, Subway, the grocery store, like big things like this. If I frequent Central Market and it comes out that the head person of Central Market said things that I don't agree with, I'm still probably going to go to Central Market. And I know some people, and this is where I'm going to tie this back to the girl that lived in my building. We went on a walk, and she was a person who, if she found out that anybody in the higher ups of a company was against her belief system, she would not go to that place. Like, it didn't matter what the thing was. And I told her, I'm like, I'm just not operating in that way. I also am just never going to know that information. I just don't pay attention to things like that. Again, I'm sure apparently this JK Rowling thing must have been big news. Like, I just don't know what's going on. You all know I'm always like way behind on things. Like, I'm never paying attention. I don't really pay attention to media in general. Anywho, it doesn't matter. I don't live like that. Now, if it were like a small business, if it were something that was a non-necessity, if it was like something very specific where I could easily avoid something, if they were like a terrible person, like if I learned that the owner of a little store by me that I like to pop into has done horrible things, I'm not going to go in there. Right? But like if it's a big corporation, here's the thing, there's going to be corrupt and horrible people at any big company. I think that's just going to be the case, right? Maybe that's wrong to say. I don't need to get into this, but let's go back to Harry Potter. Harry Potter books are iconic. This is one of those things where I think it's unavoidable. I hope that my children read Harry Potter. It's iconic. It's a classic. Then we can watch the movies. Then we can go to Harry Potter World. I read all of the books. I watched all of the movies. I love Harry Potter. It is unfortunate now that I'm learning J.K. Rowling is not a good person. But here's another thing that, controversial. Am I like literally just going to say all the wrong things in this episode? It's similar to Andrew Huberman when all of that came out, that he's like a horrible guy and he dates multiple people. I, again, didn't really dive into that. There are, unfortunately, people that are not good people, but they are good at their craft. Like, I believe that Andrew Huberman came out with a lot of good information, and I think that he changed a lot of people's lives in good ways and made them healthier. And I think that is a net positive. It is unfortunate that again, I don't know the accusations. I didn't really look into it. It was like a long documentary and I just like didn't care that much. Like, I don't care about most things, but I think that sometimes the good, like Harry Potter, outweighs, not the bad. It doesn't outweigh it, but it's like, unfortunately, and I do feel this way, especially with people in the arts. For example, this is like a different side tangent. My best friend works in the arts, and she has a very best friend who is a super talented dancer. Like, danced for Justin Bieber, danced for Rihanna, has been in music videos. She is like a world-renowned dancer, and she is incredible at her craft. She works with my best friend at like a job as admin at this dance studio. She is a horrible employee. Like, my friend will tell me, like, she's late, she's inconsiderate, she doesn't show up to meetings, she's like not even like 5 minutes late, like an hour late, she doesn't want to do anything. Like, she is a textbook horrible employee, and they should fire her. And my best friend is friends with her, and it's starting to now kind of, because when you work together, or it's similar to becoming roommates with your best friend, it starts to eat away at your relationship in general. And it's like, this person can be a wonderful dancer. And this is why I'm bringing it up, because my friend was like, I think I just idolized her for so long and thought she was so cool. And she is incredible at dance, but like, she's not a bad person, but well, I guess in her relationship too, there are some issues, like not great. And I was saying this, and this obviously isn't always the case, but I think a lot of artsy people, and I would put J.K. Rowling in this, which being bigoted, which if I'm going to be totally fucking for real, I don't even know what that means. I know generally what it means, but I don't really know the definition. There are like different levels of being a bad person. Like my friend's friend, she's not doing terrible things, but like, I hate people like that. I hate a person who can't show up to work on time and is just a bad employee. Like that just irks me. But I feel like a lot of people in the arts, I would consider Andrew Huberman or like creatives, oftentimes probably because they have ADHD. Hello? I think I just glitched. ADHD, that they are bad in other aspects of their life, whether they're not a good friend or they're not good at this. Like, I think, well, we are all humans and we are all flawed. Of course, there are things like basic human rights and decency. And yes, like being respectful, like that's one end of it. Like somebody who just doesn't show up on time, that's like a different ordeal. But unfortunately, as human beings, somebody can be the most amazing person at their craft. J.K. Rowling, obviously an incredible author, unfortunately might be a bad person, and it just is what it is. But I do think often, again, like I was saying with the creatives, that this happens a lot. Like I think people with the certain creative brains, especially like that, like a novelist, an author, I think that they think in a completely different way. Like I would love to see inside the brain of some people. Like I think I can't even imagine the way that they think and the way that they see things and the way that they hear things. And of course, if somebody, there are differences in like, if somebody went out and was like assaulting people and like doing actually horrible things to people in real life, like that to me is like crazy and unforgivable. But when it comes to like beliefs, like if they're, which I guess you could say with their vote, they are actively doing something, but I think it's like way more ambiguous than that. And I think unfortunately there are going to be people that are good at their craft, or people that you really like that you just come across and then you find out that they believe different things than you. I think that's just life and it's unfortunate. But let's get back to the am I the asshole? Holy frick, I just talked for so long. Brenna, was that even necessary? Probably not. No, do not throw away your Harry Potter books. I'm under the belief system, and I will stand with this. Some things, like if it were a shitty ass book that the like nobody knows and the kids aren't going to be impacted, not that they would be impacted not reading Harry Potter, it's not that serious, but like that's one thing. Again, I do feel like it's Harry Potter. The kids wanted to read it. Let them read it. Not everything. Like, I also hate how everything has become this, like, there's always a negative connotation. Like, we just have to, like, oh, but like, they did this or they did that. Like, can we just enjoy the book for the book? Like, I don't even think about the author. Again, I didn't even know this about J.K. Rowling. Like, to me, I don't think in that light. Like, unless I'm super interested in something, like, I had no idea. I don't know anything about J.K. Rowling. I could not point out J.K. Rowling in a lineup. Same with Colleen Hoover. Same with Lucy Foley. Same with Frida McFadden. I don't know what any of these people look like. I don't know anything about them. Kristen Hanna, I might recognize. I don't know anything about her beliefs or who she is. I just enjoy their books. I think that a lot of things in life, we can just simply enjoy the thing, and that's it. And I get it. In today's day and age, we boycott and we do all of this stuff and everything has become something. I'm just not that way. And therefore, I think you keep the freaking books. Let's move on. Oh, wait, I forgot. Next. I'm on one today. Am I the asshole for letting my pregnant daughter move in with me, even though my girlfriend doesn't want her to? I 40 male, have an 18-year-old daughter with my ex-wife. We'll call her Maddie. We divorced when Maddie was 7, and I have her 3 weekends a month. Her mom moved to a suburb almost an hour outside the city to be closer to her family and for a better school. My work was in the city, and after a while, Maddie got sick of all the driving and asked if we could go to a different schedule. We talked most days on the phone, and I have been very involved in her life. She's a great student, graduated with over a 4.0, has a lot of friends, and what I thought, exclamation, very nice boyfriend. She has no idea what she wants to do with her life and had already decided to defer her scholarship a year to take classes at the community college and work. I also have a girlfriend, Vera, 37, and she gets along with Maddie great. We've been together about 2 years, and she just moved into my house a few months ago. Edit. Her old roommate got married and she couldn't afford rent alone, so we'd been together almost 2 years, and I was considering proposing, so it seemed like a good idea after she couldn't find another place. She pays the electric and water bills, but my house is paid off, so I just pay taxes, insurance, and other utilities. And it's been great. I didn't really date much the past few years between Maddie and work, so it's nice having someone always around. Vera doesn't want kids of her own, and I don't want any more, so it's been great. So for all of that, Maddie is pregnant and her mom has kicked her out. Her boyfriend has another year left of nursing school and lives in a college apartment with roommates. She is, of course, staying here for now and found out late. She's due in January. She and her boyfriend went over the options and decided to keep the baby. She told me very meekly and asked if she could stay. I told her, of course. She knows this is disappointing, but she'll never stop being my baby. And if this is what's going to happen, I'm here to support her within reason. As in, I'm fine babysitting if she has work or class, and she will keep working and going to school, but I'm not babysitting for her to party or hang out with friends. If the boyfriend bails, which I was as kind as I could be, but told her happens even with the nicest boys, she would need to file for child support. And I would give her grace before and after birth, but when she's recovered, she will go back to doing chores on top of baby ones. I told her and the boyfriend to sleep on it, and they did, and came back with an actual thoughtful response and even a budget and a budget goal that I found impressive. So the tiny bedroom next to Maddie's that is currently home to a treadmill I never use is going to be a nursery. Of course, I've kept Vera in the loop during all of this. Then there's an edit. And by this, I mean, I don't know how many different ways I need to put this so it gets through people's heads. Vera and I discussed all of this before I talked to the kids in depth. I made her very aware that the 3 of them could end up living here for a few years. She was supportive. I kept her in the loop. When them living here became the plan, she gave me an ultimatum and told me to kick my daughter out because she's an adult. I told her I wouldn't do that. She is still here and making everyone uncomfortable. Wait, what? Vera, no offense, but you're 37 and you couldn't live on your own because you couldn't afford rent, and you moved in with your boyfriend because you couldn't live on your own. And this girl is 18 years old, barely an adult, and it has a baby on the way. Oh, Vera is bad news. No offense. And she seemed really understanding until I told her the plan. She got upset and said if she wanted to raise a baby, she'd have one of her own. She said she didn't sign up for this and is not okay with it, and demanded I rescind the offer that Maddie is 18 and needs to figure it out on her own if she wants to keep the baby. I told her I wouldn't do that. She'll always be my daughter and needs help. She threatened to move out if I didn't tell Maddie to get out, then got mad that I told her I understood. Now she's avoiding the both of us, but is still staying here or being snippy. I don't know what she expects me to do, but it's making the entire house anxious. Another edit at the bottom. Stop saying that Vera would be shocked that Maddie moved in. This is Maddie's home. She's always lived here. Yes, the rest is a surprise, but not my daughter living in her own home. Holy shit. Here's the thing. That was the final sentence. Unfortunately, I get where Vera is coming from in the sense that it would be a shock. Like, nobody foresaw, is foresaw a word, could foresee this happening, right? I imagine if I'm 37 years old and I start dating a guy and live with him, and I know that his one daughter is 18, I'm not imagining in a world that would probably not come to my brain that she could possibly move in, especially when she had been living with her mother the whole time, right? I get that. However, he said that he talked to her about everything and told her, and that was her time to speak up. But also, again, unfortunately for Vera, it is his daughter and his house and his choice. And what a wonderful man. Like, the mom kicked her own daughter out. How kind of him to let her stay there for a few years. He said that he could see them staying for a few years. I know that most people would say that's like what most parents should do, but I feel like that wouldn't be the case. I think a lot of parents would be understandably upset, but he is like open arms, happy to have his daughter, which his daughter needs now more than anything, especially in today's economy. We are talking about this right now. She's 18, about to go to community college, but is going to have a baby. He is being a wonderful dad. And unfortunately, Vera and her feelings are valid and she can be upset. And I understand in some ways she shouldn't be upset because he did talk to her about it and explained everything. She's allowed to feel upset in her feelings, but she needs to leave. She needs to leave, and asking him to kick out his daughter is a little bit crazy. I could see how that's a conversation. Be like, I'm not super thrilled about this. This is not what I imagined happening. But also, I'm still so shocked that she said that the daughter, Maddie, is an adult and she needs to figure it out, when this girl had a roommate at 37 and then couldn't afford rent on her own. I get it. Shit is expensive. But imagine an 18-year-old who just graduated and doesn't even have a college degree. I'm sorry. What? Here's what needs to happen. Vera needs to move out because she's only going to grow resentful, but also he said they have a good relationship. I feel like it could be worked out. She just needs to understand that this is the deal. And if she isn't okay with it, then leave. Then the relationship is over. And unfortunately, this is one of those scenarios or examples when a relationship can be wonderful. It sounds like they have a wonderful, great relationship, but external situations and circumstances affect a relationship. Like, this is why I say that, like, love is not enough. Like, it is completely fine for her to not want to live that life, to not live in a house where his daughter now lives and a baby and a boyfriend's coming in and out, or he's living there. I get that, and I get not wanting to sign up for that, but like, that's the deal. This is what's happening. You decide you want to be a part of it or you don't, and that's it. Okay, next. This one is crazy based off the title alone. Will I be the asshole if I divorce my wife because she does not want me actively involved in raising our child? What woman wouldn't want their husband? Like, this is the one thing that women like need. Oh my gosh. Let's begin. My wife, 31 female, and I, 32 male, have been together since college, and we've been married for 7 years. We have 3 children together, and I am sick of either having to step back and let her raise the kids almost as a single mom, or fight with her because I did something with our children, even something as simple as feeding them, but that's where I'm at. She wasn't like this when our oldest son was born. It started when she was pregnant with our twins. She would always tell me to tidy or run some errands when I wanted to spend time with our child. Then she'd keep him by her side the entire day, or she'd go off somewhere if I said we should all spend the day together and focused on our oldest. But when the twins came, it was worse. Every time I went to feed or change a baby, she was telling me to go back to bed or to run to the store for something. Whenever she caught me holding and doing anything with one of our kids, it was like I was committing a crime. When I'd ask her what the issue was, she said there was nothing, but I should just make myself useful, even if I was doing that. One time she was delayed on the phone talking to her sister, so I put our oldest to bed and got the twins fed. She freaked out and yelled at me for doing it without her. I'm sorry, what? You best believe when I have children, I'm telling Carter to do absolutely everything. I'm going to say, babe, I need the night to just sit here on the couch and relax. Go take care of that goddamn baby. I hear it crying, go help. Oh my gosh, but like also how sad, like he is the dad. I'm so confused because what woman wouldn't want help, especially from their father? And also like, I can't wait to watch Carter like take care of shit with children. Like that's just like the hottest thing you've ever seen. Wait, where was I? I told her it wasn't like I went off schedule and she was busy. She said that wasn't the point. Then came the fights about me trying to be with the kids instead of working or running errands. When I took time off, I would make sure I got home with the kids and she'd be ready for a fight. And if I didn't let a fight happen, she'd yell at me anyway. Whenever I didn't push through, she'd find a way to keep the kids from me. This is actually just like really sad for him. I told her it bothered me and she said it was all in my head. Another time, she accused me of trying to hog the kids even though I hadn't been home all day. She hated me baby wearing. I was screamed at for picking the kids up from her parents' house one day. She was at an appointment and I was getting out of work, so I thought it made sense. But she told me she decided to leave them with her parents, so I should respect that. And I told her I was just as capable of taking care of them as her. She was hospitalized briefly a couple of months ago, and that's when I reached the point of like, fuck this, we should divorce. I took some days off work so I could be with the kids, and she kept telling me to go back to work and let the kids stay with her parents until she got home. And she was screaming at me while she was in the hospital because I had the kids. She sent her parents to try and take them off of me twice. When she recovered, I told her this couldn't continue, and if this was the way things would be, we should divorce. And she screamed and said I would be an asshole to destroy our family and break up our kids' stability. Even my own parents told me I should find a way to make it work, but she won't even sit down and talk to me. Therapy is out of the question on her part, and I don't want the kids to see us fight every time I interact with even one of them. Will I be the asshole to divorce? No. And like that seems like the easiest way to actually get access with your kids. She won't even let you like put them to bed or wear them or do anything. Like she needs to go to therapy. Obviously, I don't want the first thing to be divorce, but if she's unwilling to go to therapy, which is such a fucking odd thing to me, like why would you not? I've been thinking about going to therapy recently, which I should talk more about this, just for like a handful of odds and ends reasons to like talk to somebody about like situations where I feel like talking to friends and family doesn't really do anything. I don't know. I just feel like I know so many people who go to therapy and it's a good thing. And I just think it would be good to build a relationship now with a therapist. That way in my lifetime, like when we have kids and things, like I just think it'd be good to have, which obviously I'm sure in the future you would have to switch anyways. But I don't understand people in 2025 who are against therapy, and she really badly needs it. She either needs it for herself, because why does she not want him to take care of the kids or be with the kids? That's your husband. If she's a control freak, again, that's something she needs to manage, right? Unfortunately, like he is the dad and wants to help. Is it like she's jealous? Is it a control issue? Like, I don't understand what the issue is, but if he divorces her, at least he would get 50-50 time. I imagine that it would split 50-50. I think about this. I think because of the stories that I have on this podcast, how when there are people, for example, mothers who are wonderful mothers and they put up with a shitty husband, and then the husband divorces, and then all of a sudden you have to split your time with your children. Can you imagine like being a mom and you love your kids to the moon and back, and then something happens, your husband does some stupid fucking bullshit and you have to divorce? It's not even like, of course the divorce and everything with that is hard, but like I never thought about the fact that you then have to give up your kids half the time. Like I think about my dad, which again, I don't know the legalities. Like I slept at his house, but I saw my mom every day after school and the weekends were switched. Like if my dad had a preference, I imagine he would have wanted to have us every weekend. Obviously, like how sad that you have children and then your marriage, something happens and now you're punished. Like for people in marriages, it can be the same way for dads. Let's say the mom does something, she cheats or does something horrible and you get a divorce, and like now you only see your kids half the amount of time. Like at least if you're in a miserable marriage, you come home and you get to see your kids every day and you have them on the weekends and you get to see them all the time, as long as you're a good loving parent. But for those who literally do nothing wrong, it's like a punishment. Now you have to like give up your kids half the time. That is really sad. But like this guy would see his kids and get more time with them if he did divorce. That's crazy. I don't understand like what the issue is. I think she really badly needs therapy herself to figure out. It's like as if she thinks you're a bad parent or she doesn't trust you, which is wild. That's your husband. You chose to have kids with this person. And of course, like I understand that women give birth and there are postpartum, like totally so many disorders and things that can happen, and it might not even be in her control. She might have just turned into a control freak, but like something's got to give, and you need her to figure that out, or I think you have to divorce, because like it should be a partnership. You chose to have those kids. That is crazy. Like imagine if Carter all of a sudden like wouldn't let me do anything with our children. That's crazy. Those are my thoughts. Okay, next. Oh, I just had to throw this in. This one's like really short and it kind of made me giggle. Am I the asshole for telling my wife either she gets a job or I'm putting her on an allowance? I didn't realize, which I don't know why I never thought about this, how many men have wives that just like want to spend and spend and spend. Actually, one of, maybe I shouldn't say the exact correlation or like who this person is to us, but I know of people where the man constantly jokes that he has to make more because his wife spends all of his money. Well, it turns out he was stealing money from his company, and like literally he is living paycheck to paycheck. Their kids are full grown. They're out of the house. Like the wife just spends that much money. It's actually insane. I don't know how that happens, but anyways, let's keep going. My 34 male wife, 34 female, oh my gosh, they're so young, 34, is a stay-at-home mom / stay-at-home wife, and she likes to spend frivolously. After the kids go to school on the bus, she usually goes back to bed, then wakes up and goes to Starbucks to have a coffee and bagel and browses her phone. Then she goes to the gym and after goes shopping. She doesn't always buy things. Sometimes it's just window shopping, but she's spent $1,500 by herself some months on clothes, nails, hair, makeup, eyebrows, buying eyelashes in packages called things like baddie or fuckboy, etc. Those were in parentheses. I don't know what brand sells eyelashes that are called baddie or fuckboy. Oh, I wonder if that's like, you know how there's wispies, like the name? That's hilarious. That's such an odd thing for him to notice. I told her we need to get on a budget and stick to it. And if she can't, I'll have no choice but to put her on an allowance or she can get a job. She was furious and said if I wanted a working wife, I should have married a hardworking gal instead of her. I reminded her that when we first married, she did have plans to work and had all of these big plans on becoming a businesswoman, yet never acted on anything. She called me an ungrateful asshole and said, then divorce me. I don't know what to do. Am I the asshole for telling her to either get a handle on her spending, get a job, or I'll put her on an allowance? I don't think you're the asshole at all. I think every family should have a budget. I think you should sit down with your partner and budget and have your financial goals and what goes to the kids and what goes to school and groceries and this. Like, that's not even like a crazy wild thing to say. But unfortunately, I think especially with stay-at-home moms, when the kids go to school, like when you have nothing to do, you go shop and you go buy things. Like, what else would she do during the day? Or you work out like a maniac, or if you have a hobby, okay, but like if you don't have a hobby or anything, I get it, because as a content creator, like if I have downtime, I'm scrolling my phone, and like TikTok and Instagram are essentially just like consumerism. Like, it's just people trying to sell things, and I like think of things that I need to buy, and like that's just what happens with boredom. Yeah, she just needs something to do, I think, but I don't know why I wanted to put that in here. We'll keep going. Next. Am I the asshole for not canceling our long planned trip because my mother-in-law scheduled surgery at the same time? My husband and I have a big trip planned for 5 weeks from now. It's a once in a lifetime type of vacation. 15 days on the other side of the world, over 27 hours of flights each way. We've been planning and saving for it for over 6 months. Both of us work very stressful jobs and very rarely get the chance to take any time off like this. Never have in the past 12 years. Oh my gosh, that's so good for them. That's crazy. This is obviously like not just a trip to Vegas. This is like an insane trip. Okay. My mother-in-law, 70, has several health problems. She recently scheduled a complicated surgery for exactly the same time we'll be away. She knew we were going to be away. We were not consulted about the timing. There's almost no other family around, and the few relatives who do live about 40 minutes away either don't drive, have jobs, or simply can't/won't help her during recovery. We don't have the option to reschedule our trip without losing a significant amount of money, and honestly, we suspect she chose these dates partly for attention or to create conflict. There were other possible dates. Oh, mother-in-law drama. Yeah, I get it. She has health issues. It'd be one thing if this was like a once in a lifetime surgery that only fell on this day, but like that's just like not how things work anymore. You can schedule. She very clearly scheduled this. And as a mother-in-law, if she's making a stink about it, she knew. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me just finish. Now there's a pressure on us to cancel and be there for her. But we feel that after all the time, money, and energy we put into this trip and how rarely we get breaks, it's unfair to expect us to change our plans. Am I the asshole for deciding to still go on our trip? No, not even in the slightest. This was planned so far out in advance, and it's also something that's like, again, it's not Vegas, which even still, you had it planned and she knew. That's on her. And she's an idiot because she is going to need to recover, and that's on her. And it sucks because in these situations, if you're an empath, you're going to feel bad even though you shouldn't feel bad. Even though she did this maliciously, intently, that's not okay, and I don't agree with that, but still go on the vacation and say, fuck you. She can reschedule it. She could have scheduled it for a week later when you get back. And also, did she ask you to help with recovery? If so, then she should have spoken to you about the dates, because it's wild to assume help from somebody without consulting them about the dates. Or she's just being a mother-in-law. That's annoying. No, do not feel bad. But naturally, I'm sure, especially your husband, it's his mom. He's going to feel bad knowing that on one of those days she's having the surgery and you guys are gone. Like, why would she do that to you? It's just so selfish. I cannot stand when people are so selfish, especially also knowing that they haven't gone on a vacation in 12 years and it's something they're really looking forward to, and you just put that on the same exact time and then also expect them to help. That's so shitty, and I don't agree with that at all. Okay, next. I think this is going to be the last story. Am I the asshole for not canceling plans to be there for the birth of a friend's baby? So, I, 27 female, reconnected with a childhood acquaintance, 29 female, recently when she moved to my city. My dad and her mom used to work together. We weren't close growing up, but when she moved to my city, around 5 months pregnant, she reached out. I know how lonely it can be to move somewhere new, so I agreed to hang out and tried to help her settle in. When I moved here, I didn't know anyone either, and now I'm the only one she knows. That can be a really bad deal. Some people are just needier than others. Like, I'm not a needy person. I'm like the least needy person. I actually have a problem with making more friends because I know that they're gonna want to hang out, and like, I just don't want that. Some people, on the other hand, like, want to be conjoined at the hip. Is it conjoined, or would I just say joined at the hip? And that's what I'm assuming is about to happen. At first, it was fine. I did little things like I drove her to look at apartments. She didn't have a car, helped her run errands, and my dad even built her furniture when she got an apartment. That's so sweet. Go, Dad. My dad came to visit me for the weekend, and we spent it helping her settle in. She has no support system. The baby's dad is out of the picture, and she's unemployed. Not sure how she's funding everything. How is she funding everything? How is she moving to a new city, is unemployed, and has a baby on the way? That's crazy. I genuinely wanted to be kind and supportive. I even introduced her to some of my friends, and she was so rude to them and then wouldn't stop talking poorly about them. Sometimes I feel like girlfriends are low-key, I don't want to say lesbian, but like they act like a jealous boyfriend would. Like, you introduced her to your friends, which is so kind of you to do, and then she was rude to them and then talk shit about them to you. Like, that's something that like a jealous boyfriend would do. I don't mean to like say that she's lesbian, but like some friends are so needy, and I'm guessing she's just deeply insecure, but it's like, are you in love with me? Like, I would assume that you're in love with me. That's where my head goes. Or you're super, I wouldn't even say envious, because there's a difference. When girls are jealous of you, they're mean to you typically. But like when somebody just doesn't take a liking to any of your friends. Like there's definitely like she wants to be your one friend, but that's exactly what's happening here. You're her only friend. I know I joke about often like when your best friend has another friend, like ew. It's obviously a joke. There are some people like that. Like you are her only friend. Therefore, I'm sure she wants her to be your only friend. Oh, this is a bad deal. But she obviously, again, unfortunately, we can infer a lot of things. She has no support system. She has no job. She got knocked up and the baby dad is not in the picture. It's similar to that story we had a few weeks ago. I guess it was kind of like this. Maybe I'm like repeating stories. It's not the same exact one, but like when that woman literally relied on her friend, what ended up happening there? It's like that when she had nobody else. Oh, she had like 1 million baby daddies. She had like 1 million kids. And it's like, oh, it's a bad deal. Like clearly this person is either not thinking with like a full set of brains. Something's like not right. And maybe it's not her fault. Maybe it's mental health issues. I don't really know. But unfortunately, like that's what I'm assuming. Anywho, let's keep going. But then things escalated. She started demanding I go with her everywhere. Doctor's appointments, grocery shopping, even to do nails. She started jokingly calling the baby our baby because I've been around so much. She'll say things like, our baby is craving fries from McDonald's and beg me to get them for her. She even offers to pay me. She refuses to use meal delivery apps because she doesn't trust that they won't do something to the food, she says. This has been going on for months. This is a bad deal. This would actually be my worst nightmare because even though I just said like if a friend wants to hang out, I'm like resistant. I am an empathetic person and like knowing that she's on her own and she has no support system. And when people really latch on to me, I feel an obligation. For example, when I worked at Equinox, there was a girl who I worked the front desk at. She was a little bit younger than me. I was pretty young at the time, but like she really took a liking to me and didn't really have anybody else. And she wanted to hang out all the time. And then she started scheduling us together because she was like a manager of the front desk. And like I felt obligated because I knew that I was really helpful for her and was like a shoulder for her to lean on. And I get stuck in these weird predicaments. It's almost similar to like when I started working for the nanny family. It was so hard for me to leave that job because I know that I did so much for them and I helped them so much and they all like valued me, but I wasn't happy there. I feel like this happens a lot to me where people really appreciate my help or like my being there. And then like it gets to a point where I'm like overwhelmed and or it's just not good for me anymore, but that's like a really hard situation to leave. And I feel like people like me, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that feel that way too. Like it's as if we're a magnet to these type of people. Like it's like they find us and it's like, oh, it's so hard to get out of that because you feel bad. It was similar to leaving the nanny fam. Like I knew, well, I had to find my replacement, but like I knew they wouldn't like them as much as me. And I knew that if the person wasn't good, they would be upset. Like I felt the pressure, even though it's like a normal job, I would just like be able to leave and like not think twice about it. When it's like a very like familial bond like that, like you're really close or friends, it's hard because you're a human and you feel for that person. Like this girl's gonna have a baby. She knows nobody. She's unemployed. She has nobody. Like, ugh, that's so hard. Fast forward, I'm a bridesmaid in my best friend's wedding and flying home to Puerto Rico for 4 weeks to help with the shower, the rehearsal, the wedding, and even organizing her closet in her husband's apartment while she's on her honeymoon. They don't live together until after the wedding. When my acquaintance came over and saw me packing, oh my gosh, she's calling her acquaintance. I'm dead. She lost it. She said, I never told her about my trip. She said she was counting on me to be there for the birth, which will definitely happen while I'm away. I leave tomorrow and she's ready to pop any minute, and even expected me to move in with her for the first month after the baby was born to help out since I have nanny experience. I'm sorry, she assumed you were going to move in. Was she going to talk to you about that? This person is crazy. Again, I told you we can infer things about a person in a scenario. She's insane. Oh, oofta. Oi, 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 that's crazy. She also told me she was planning on me watching the baby on the days I work from home 2 days a week. This is insane. This person is insane. I'm sorry. She was just expecting you to do all of these things. No. And like this also then explains why this person has nobody in their life, why they have no friends. Like it always comes out. You're like, because look at this. Who acts like this? Oh my gosh. I told her I wasn't canceling my flight or shortening my trip, and now she's furious, saying that I'm abandoning her and the baby, that I'm all they have. She's posting about me on social media. If in 2025, as an adult, you're posting passive-aggressive things on social media, grow the fuck up. Saying I betrayed her. Her mom, who lives in our state, just 4.5 hours away, is commenting and encouraging her. No, I'm sorry. You need to block this girl and never see her again because this is insane behavior. I told my mother about this, and she also said I was a bad friend to leave her and her baby when they need me, that she agrees moving in is a lot, but I should be there during the birth, only travel for the wedding, and then come back to help with meals, etc. And told me she won't be picking me up at the airport tomorrow because she knows I'll do the right thing. What? Moms need serious help. I'm sorry, your mother is siding with this crazy person? Nope. She asks, so am I the asshole? No. The fact that you've done as much for her already is incredible, and she should just be thankful. She should never have assumed. She should never have thought anything. This is her life with her baby. I'm so sorry. No, and I don't care if that makes me a bad person. Like, you have obligations to your other friend. Hello, your actual friend. Like, how did we even get here in the first place? You are not the asshole. She needs to get her life in order. That's the thing. People like this, they use and abuse people and go their whole life doing shit like this, and they never learn. And it's not on you to teach her the lesson, but it's like, what is she doing? How did she just move to the city with no job and a baby on the way? Like, what? Nope. And if she also, like, if a friend is expecting you to help, like, that's one thing, because a friend would help when having a baby, but like, you speak to them. You don't assume. You don't just imagine that they're going to be there and do all of these things for you. You have a conversation with them. Like, if she was expecting all of these things, she should have been having conversations, asking like, okay, when the baby comes to this, like, even just hypothetically, I still think it's crazy to assume anybody is going to help you with your baby, even your own family. Like, unless you're married and have a husband, I think it's safe to assume that person is going to help you. But even if you live in the same city as your very best friends, your family, they have a life. Like, I will just like never assume that people are going to step in and help me. That's crazy. Not the asshole. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have the best Monday, and I hope you have the best week, and we will catch up on Friday. Okay, guys, thank you for being here. You're the best. Okay, that's all. Bye, guys.